Hey everyone, on today's episode of the Security Swarm podcast, I've got Daniel Hofmann, the CEO from Hornetsecurity, on the line to talk about what it's like leading a security company in the modern era. So with Daniel, we talk about what his predictions for the industry are, we talk about how he stays informed, and even what some of his favorite things about the job are. All that and more coming up on today's episode of the Security Swarm podcast. Well, hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of the Security Swarm podcast, the podcast that brings you the knowledge and insights straight from the security lab here at Hornet Security. As always, I'm your host, Andy Surwich, and I've got a special episode today. I've got Daniel Hofmann, the CEO of Hornet Security, on the line as my guest today. How's it going, Daniel?
Yeah, all good, all great. Good weather, good conditions, good office day. Many tasks already done.
Sounds like a good day. So, Daniel, I know you're an extremely busy guy, and I really appreciate you coming on the show and kind of sharing some of your knowledge and insights today. But before we get into our topic for the day, can you kind of give our listeners and our viewers a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Daniel. Within IT, I think over 20 years now. So living in Germany, and I have a family, 3 small kids, a dog, and so when I'm not on the business, so I spend most of my time with my family and with my dog and driving fast cars. So that's the things what I like.
Driving fast cars, we all have to have a vice, right? The fast cars is a good one. And 3 kids. I have 1, and 1 kid's a lot of work. I can only imagine 3. So you're a busy guy, both in the office and out of the office. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's my life, right?
Sounds good. So, well, Daniel, being again, the CEO of Hornetsecurity, and us being a fairly large cybersecurity organization, last I counted, we were approaching about 500 heads, if I remember correctly, inside the organization. And I thought it'd be interesting to have you come on the show and kind of share your perspectives, one, of being the CEO of a cybersecurity organization, and 2, your thoughts on the industry as well too, right? So I thought as kind of our first talking point where we could start is, on the CEO side. So in terms of being the CEO of a cybersecurity company, what's it like? And I guess a good place to start would be, what are some of your favorite things? What aren't some of your favorite things? I guess overall, what's your feeling on being the CEO of a cybersecurity company in today's security ecosystem?
Yeah, so I think cybersecurity, it's an interesting topic. So it's every day something new. You can read everywhere new things every day. And especially, the IT is developing so fast in different areas. So it gets many new things also around the security on new tools. So we came from old classical IT, where more or less the customers protected their infrastructure in their own building. Now we have iPhones and work from everywhere and using cloud applications. So the security area shifted a lot over the last 15 years, and it's getting even faster with new technologies, and makes absolutely fun to produce new products and new functionalities which help us to improve the customers and as well the data and so on.
It's definitely one of those industries where you won't get bored. That's for sure. You won't get bored. One of my favorite IT speakers that I've seen speak in person, Jeffrey Snover. He used to work for Microsoft. I think he's over at Google now. But anyway, he said something that has really stuck with me over the years. It kind of makes me laugh sometimes. He said, if you want a job that never changes, go be a lumberjack, right? Because that job never changes. Well, in IT, it changes daily. I think back to, it sounds like you and I have been in the industry about the same amount of time, 20, 21 years for me. And I remember back then, you could reasonably kind of keep an eye on all facets of the industry within reason. But today it's changing so quickly that I gave up trying to keep track of everything a long time ago, right? So definitely is not a space where we're going to get bored. So yeah, I guess that's some of the things that you really like about being the CEO of a cybersecurity company. But what about least favorite things? I imagine there's got to be some pressures that are associated with heading a cybersecurity organization, right? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so as a CEO, you have many tasks to do. Yeah, so you have to look over the company. Yeah, so you can not spend all your time only with looking for great new features. So what's next and so on. So this makes fun. Yeah, and developing things. So you have to also solve problems. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you have to look to work with other applications and around that. So, and it's also managing a whole organization. Yeah, and it needs more than only a product team. So you need different areas,
Right.
and with many people comes every gives good views, good new ideas on the one side, but on the other side, yeah, you have to bring it on a track, drive it forward, correct every time, and steer the thing all the time. So I think sometimes you have some boring things, but you have to do it anyway. So otherwise, you get it not solved. So that's part of the job. But on
Right.
the other hand, around you need to be 100% there all the time and drive in the right direction. Yeah, and also help people to find the right way.
Right.
That's I think the one thing what is returning all the time. So I don't like returning things, but that's I think almost everything.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, to kind of put an end cap on this particular section of today's talk. So you're a busy guy, obviously, with all the stuff that you're working on. But one thing that I always ask, especially my guests that are kind of in the C-suite, I, what are the main ways that you keep up to date on trends in the industry with your schedule? I can't imagine it's easy, especially with one that changes as frequently as ours. But what are the main ways you keep up to date?
Yeah, so it's the main part of my job. Yeah, so I say every time. So when a CEO needs something like a chief strategy officer or whatever, so somebody who is defining the strategy for the company and the product. So that's cannot be. Then he's not a real CEO. So at the end, the CEO has to drive the things, get innovation into a company, setting the next steps, and for that you need to know almost everything. So I think so we use all the news, yeah, so all the daily news and all the stuff around that, but in particular, so the 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 things what I looking behind it's what's next in terms of iterations in IT, what's next in terms of functionality and user experiences, how these kind of next products should look like, yeah, how an
Right.
employee should work in the future, what also the work and the relationships together with IT is changing. What is AI changing? Yeah,
Right.
in the daily jobs, what the people doing in front of a computer, what kind of permissions and access rights make sense to give them to the users, what and all the stuff. So we saw at the end cloud is coming since 2007. Yeah, so we developed
Right.
a cloud product. Yeah, 10 years before the cloud started. Yeah, so at the end we're looking, or I look, or try to look, okay, what's next, and try to prepare on the things what's coming. Yeah, because what we need and what we see is everything, every IT system, every new tool, is it a cloud tool or another one, needs to protect it in a way, and we cannot serve 100%. Yeah, so we concentrate on some of them, and these are the areas we are building for.
Right. Right. I love that you kind of mention the cloud angle there, because I think that's a great segue into kind of the next section of our conversation here. And that is, if we go all the way back to the founding of Hornet Security, this would be all the way back to 2007, right? What was the primary driver behind the start of the company? I think you're just the guy to kind of talk to that question, I think.
Yeah, so it starts every time with a problem. Yeah, so
Right.
there are problem in the industry, and you see that it starts for us with antivirus, anti-spam, and email security in particular. So, and we saw that there are stupid products on the market. Quality is very bad, and but at the end, I saw a very big issue behind this complete industry, because it's at the end there were some products out there which was more or less a framework with some signatures. Yeah. So and then
Right.
in each organization, the IT department has to run the software to fulfill right setting and filter rates and so on. But it's not the right way to do that. So at the end, so it should be something centralized, which is more scaling, which gets more better effect on that, and where especially also the IT departments and IT security, they have to work 24 hours, and which company can do that? So I looked for kind of producing a cloud managed security service product, which is monitored, secured, the customer communications 24 hours, without any needs that he needs to be online, 24 hours or doing themselves. So I think that was the starting point.
And I think that's having some of the previous conversations I've had with Umut, our head of security labs, right? Now I can see he talks a lot about where we are currently with our solution set in the company, but it's interesting going all the way back to kind of the problem, as you said, that started the organization. And you mentioned the low quality of products at the time. It was kind of those traditional signature and hash-based detection methods, right? And I've always been amazed how long those detection methods have kind of persisted throughout the industry, right? We had those types of detection methods even way back when, and they weren't all that great at the time either, right? So it's been really great to watch the industry kind of evolve and our organization evolve to provide the more modern and some AI-driven solutions as we've gotten further along as an organization here. So, the episode that comes to mind for our viewers out there is Umut and we had a conversation about Hornet Security's ATP engine. So I'll be sure to include a link to that, folks, in the show notes. That way you guys can check that out. Well, Daniel, the next thing I kind of wanted to get into a little bit is we've talked about your role as the CEO of the organization. We've talked about kind of the problem and the reason why you guys started Hornet Security. I want to spend some time, speaking to your leadership in the organization a little bit, and that is kind of a discussion around the fact that security is not an easy problem to solve, and I think that's part of what makes it fun, right? But can you speak a little bit to what makes our approach unique here at Hornet Security when it comes to solving security problems?
Yeah, sure. So at the end, you have to addressify something, yeah. So because the IT security space is amazing, huge. So so you can protect almost everything if you like, yeah. So but you cannot play a game as a market leader very deep in tech in all of these areas at the same time. So we need to concentrate on something. So and for us, it's Microsoft 365, yeah, because it's a massive tool. I like the tool a lot, yeah, because it helps the users, the organizations who are using these collaboration tools a lot, yeah. So to make things easier for them, yeah. So And but everywhere where you use something new, so you have also some problems, like every time. And and the people, they understood so slowly, that you can use this kind of software. Now it's cloud, and sure, this cloud infrastructure is protected, but with with all the use cases, what the users can do now, sharing information, store data there,
Right.
getting emails in from inside and outside the organization, getting messages from teams inside, outside, so they can decide by their own, to share information with inside or outside the organization, and we think that Microsoft is a very secure platform, but at the end, it depends on the things what you're doing with that, so
Right.
and you need the right setup, you need the right configuration, you need to monitor all the stuff, and you have to take care that everything runs very well. That's the one part. On the other part, we have these external the external connectors, where attackers maybe come directly to the user on the screen,
Right.
like an email, so when an email passes a filter from Microsoft, which is pretty easy for them, because they know the attackers, they have a Microsoft 365, so you can buy it,
Yup.
and they can try it, so they don't write a malware or a phishing attack when it's not getting into the mailbox. It makes no sense. As I tested it before, so
Yep.
so it needs some additional protection. We need some more awareness on the user side, and that's not only from the security areas, also from compliance, governance, risk areas. As you can configure Microsoft, it's everything is possible, and user can decide many things by their own. So that's the area where we're concentrating. In the meanwhile, on to have a 360 degrees view on Microsoft 365 tenants, and protect them, not only for security reasons, also for compliance, governance, and taking care that everything is right and in order, and have the right permissions.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of really good points there. I think the one that sticks with me is where you mentioned how threat actors can go out, get their own M365 tenant, and test their own spam messages against it, right? And if I'm a threat actor, I know that M365 has a humongous market share, right? I just absolutely massive numbers of organizations worldwide that are using M365. I know that if I can beat the M365 spam filter on my tenant, it's likely to work on all M365 tenants, right? So that kind of puts a target on M365 in terms of, in terms of threat actors, right? So that's a good point you brought up there. So, well, the next thing I want to get into a little bit is AI, because it's almost impossible to do any piece of content in the world today without talking about AI in some way, shape, or form, because it really is fundamentally changing the industry, right? Not just IT in general, but cybersecurity as well. In your role as CEO, again, you're having to keep an eye on, industry changes and trends. What are your thoughts on the role of AI in the future of our industry? Do you think it's going to be an overall problem for the cybersecurity industry? Do you think it's going to be a net improvement? What are your thoughts there?
I think so AI is exciting. It's an exciting
Right.
topic, because it can automate so many things. So, and I love automation. So we use by our own, so since many years, machine learning, deep learning algorithms, and so on. So we are very deep in these things for many years, and now with the newest development, so they're getting more and more use cases,
Right.
to really enable these kind of technologies, to get faster things done, and to help also people to do their job much more faster or better,
Right.
or to improve quality on many things, and it's and when you look for a security perspective, so where the sun is there, there's somewhere shadow, it's all the time, so also from cybersecurity, we get more challenges here, so because when an attacker writes a phishing or whatever, so the content is individual, to the person, what they have, because they can use social engineering, all the things in the background with AI technologies, to make it really precisely. And in the past, these attacks were already there, but the attacker needs, for example, a week to prepare an attack to a specified target. So and now with AI, this time is getting reduced to maybe a few minutes. With better technologies also in the future. So, and we see that this industry is also starting this technology. So, for us, it's a good thing, because there's something new, and the teams have stuff, and they're working on these things since a long time. So, it's get more things for us in, So, for the industry, I think it's not good that the attacks getting more specific and so on, but our technologies can detect them since a longer time. So we need only one sample, and we detect it from the first one. And for that, we are very good prepared also for this step. But I think on comparison, also what for benefits we can get out of AI, and also we use AI in many of our security products. To get more precise information, to alarm, for example, an admin, a CISO, or a users themselves, on a potential breach or what happens in the right moment, So because we don't want to disturb the work on the people, So this makes no sense. So we want to do the security from the one hand, so silent as possible, and from the other hand, that's the training part, so to train them in the right moments, so where a potential breach happens, to show them, hey, this we figured out, so here, have a look here, and so it's good that we found that, but maybe we find something not, and then you have to act on that.
That's I love that standpoint of as quiet as possible, right? When you said that, I had flashbacks to my younger years in the IT space. You remember the old antivirus programs for Windows? I'm thinking of Symantec antivirus way back in the day. That antivirus application. It was so chatty. It was always talking to you. It's like, oh, I'm updating definitions, and oh, I'm scanning your machine now. And it was to the end. Your average end user doesn't need to know that information, right? So I think it's great that we kind of have that stance of presenting the information at the right moment. I love that about our security stack. And one other thing you mentioned is ways that we use AI in our own software stack. Umut and I did a different episode. It was actually the one that came out as of the week of this recording, so I'll include that in the show notes as well, folks, where we talked about the use of AI in defensive tool sets. And we talked a little bit about how we use AI in some of our solutions. So definitely an exciting space. And I think it's important to highlight how Blue Team can use AI, because I feel like the cybersecurity news cycle focuses so heavily on how threat actors can use AI, right? So I think it's important to tell the other side of the story too. So glad you brought that up, Daniel. So with just the few minutes we've got left, the last thing I want to touch on is just kind of get some predictions from you. So we talked about AI. What other future threats do you think that we're going to have to deal with in industry, and how do we prepare? So kind of an open-ended question, but where do you think we're going from here in terms of future threats?
Yeah, so we have the AI on the one hand, so what makes the attacks even more easy. So I think we had a trend long time that many big companies were attacked, targeted attacked, and
Right.
stolen data. So you read it in the media and so on. So, but with the new technologies, we will see also many medium businesses, small businesses with 200, maybe 300, with 100 people get fast security issues. And there are two main reasons for that. On the one hand, they are not targeted in the moment. And with AI, this world is completely changing. And we
Right.
see this development already, that very good targeted attacks go also to small companies. And the next thing is that these companies are most likely bad in terms of organization, security perspective. So they're not
Right.
prepared for these kind of attacks. So the chance that the attacks went through, so it's absolutely higher, and maybe they don't have even a backup, whatever, from sensitive data, and when they are getting hacked, and some of these kind of businesses will go out of business. So, and that's, I think, a challenge for the complete market, because many of these smaller and medium companies are also needed for bigger companies, because they produce something for them and so on. So
Right.
and that's also where we're focusing on, that we bring a standard compliance and also a governance on cloud products like Microsoft 365 to secure very easy these kind of customs, and mostly automated. And we address this part over MSPs and channels, but I think that's getting the next challenge, because when we see many of them, many smaller of them, so they're not prepared to get rid of that. So, and they don't have even the people to mitigate the risks there, or to react on that.
Right. And that's fantastic insight, because the thing that I've seen with organizations that size, and I'm surprised that this sentiment still exists out there. I'm still surprised, but a lot of them still have the feeling that, oh, I'm too small. It'll never happen to me, right? And that's not the case. What we're seeing in the industry is, if you're if you're big enough to pay a ransom, if you have the ability to pay a ransom, you are a target, right? Is kind of the way that the industry has moved. Well, as far as the threat actors go, anyway. So, well, Daniel, I know you're a busy guy. I don't want to keep you away from everything else you've got going on any longer than I have to. So I want to say thank you for coming and sharing some of your time with us today. It's been great talking to you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yep, definitely. And all you watching, appreciate you guys being here, spending some time with us. If you found value in today's show, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're available out on YouTube and all the major podcasting platforms. We mentioned some Hornet Security products throughout the show today. You can go to hornetsecurity.com if you want to learn any more information about any of that stuff. Again, I mentioned a couple of the other episodes as well. I'll be sure to include those in the show notes. Other than that, you all have a great day. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.